Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the video get noticed, and it does help the channel grow, and I do greatly appreciate that. Now, with that being said, let's kind of just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So obviously, throughout the last couple days, I told you guys to watch the dollar closely. Now it is Monday. I am telling you guys right now to watch the indices open. Currently, roughly on 3 hours until they officially do open. I will be, watching those today closely as we are seeing some weakness on Bitcoin. Now, of course, the major leading factor here is one major asset, and that is the US dollar. Now, I threw up the Bitcoin USD chart here for you guys as well. That way we can really kind of address a few things. Now, the major warning signs here is the fact that the dollar is breaking out. I've been telling you guys to watch the major resistance point on the US dollar, which was the 702 at around 98.92 roughly. We are breaking up above that. We are seeing a lot more strength in the US dollar, and the issue here is just, the correlation between the dollar with Bitcoin, you guys could clearly see it on the chart. I kind of overlaid these both just so that you guys could really kind of see it. And you could really see the correlation here as the dollar's gaining momentum, breaking out of some fib levels. We do see, of course, Bitcoin weakening. This is because the dollar is gaining a ton of momentum and strength. We see it, even in the past, as the dollar starts to climb, Bitcoin starts to weaken. And here is the dollar kind of hitting a topping point in March of 2021. Now, during this time, once this did happen, we started to fall. Throughout this entire time, we also seen stocks plummeting. The issue here is that we are waiting to see the next major factor here on the dollar. Are we going to hit those March of 2020 highs? And that's the major factor that I'm watching for currently. Here's those March of 2020 highs, by the way. Now, mind you, back here we did have a little bit of a volatile ride. I mean, this is when the height of COVID was happening, and this is the dollar collapsing a little bit. Now, it didn't collapse too far. I mean, honestly, it didn't really take too bad of a hit, but you do see Bitcoin starting its massive decline at around the February timeframe. Now, during this time, Bitcoin started to go from $10,000 all the way down to roughly 4,900. I know I hit like 3,000 on some exchanges. But you do see when Bitcoin really kind of bottomed out was when the US dollar was gaining a ton of momentum. And we continued to gain momentum. But then, as you guys do see, it was a nasty decline, downward trends from March of 2020 all the way until January of 2021. Okay, and during this entire time, Bitcoin was climbing, climbing, and climbing. When we officially seen it kind of bottom out, that's when we did see Bitcoin start to skyrocket in value during 2021. Now, during this entire time, the dollar was not really strong at all. It was kind of just ranging sideways, and that's basically what we want to see. But now we have to await the next major leading factor on the dollar. Are we going to hit this resistance up here at about 100, or are we just going to break through it and continue to climb? That's the major thing that we are awaiting, because if we do hit this, 103 points, we have a little bit more downside, left for us in this market. And during this entire time, I am watching some of my altcoin holdings just so I could see where I could better position myself for a buy point. I think the other day, I think it was yesterday actually, I actually uploaded 2 videos on XRP. The reason for this, and let me actually get the Bitcoin price chart out of here so that we can really kind of address this. I told you guys that we need to break out of this 92-cent zone. If we don't, then we're not going really anywhere on XRP. But the problem here stands within Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin going to do? What is the indices going to do today? Because we still have a lot of things going on overseas with Russia and the Ukraine. And if we do see a very volatile day for stocks and Bitcoin, where we do see a crashing formation happening, then we will be seeing XRP, reaching down to these nice points at around like 48 cents all the way up to around like 55 cents. I think that we will double tap this major support going back to January, and I just want to warn you guys ahead of time because, right now we've just been kind of trading sideways, and I've been still seeing major bullish charts saying, hey, XRP is coiling up for this massive break to $2 plus. That's the issue, though. It's really not. When we are talking about this current market structure, we're still in a Bitcoin market. Bitcoin has over 40% dominance in it, and we are still ranging between the idea on what's the next major impulse for Bitcoin. Are we going into a multi-year bear market, or are we still in a bull market? And right now, a lot of individuals are kind of leaning towards a bear market, which still tells me that we're basically in a bull market. It's kind of the idea that we are just waiting for Bitcoin to kind of recover. We want to watch this market recover closely because, without any solid recovery on Bitcoin, our altcoins are not going to move. Honestly, I don't see altcoin movement happening for another, weeks to months from now. So, I just want to reiterate the idea that, we are still waiting for Bitcoin to do its next major move, but a lot of things are holding it back, and the dollar is definitely one of the leading factors here. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about some exciting things with XRP, so let's kind of jump into that. So, first off, let's go back to February of 2021. Here's the list of leading partners of Ripple and how they use it. Now, some of these, partners are not, I would say that they're not still working with Ripple, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Honestly, a lot of things, in my opinion, are, kind of media shock, if you will. Like, oh, Bank of America, PNC, and stuff like that are, stepping away from Ripple because of the SEC lawsuit. I mean, we clearly don't know what's going on with a lot of this stuff. They could still be utilizing Ripple technology. There wasn't really any sort of, real confirmation on them actually pulling out of Ripple, but I will say this, there's a ton of names here, but this is not what I care about. I don't really care about the names or the major, players behind Ripple. We know these are major banks and stuff like that, but I care more so about the role here. So when we are talking about XRP with that on-demand liquidity service, this is the thing that I want to really kind of reiterate on why XRP is such an important asset for Ripple to actually utilize. So we do see here settlement. So settlement is the big thing. Usually is between 2 to 3 days, as you guys do see here, and we've seen in Ripple PDF files on the white paper that sometimes Swift transactions could be up to 9 days until they are fully settled. Now, with this being said, it's not only the settlement time that is very inefficient, it's also the fees that banks pay. This is why I said in my other video when we were talking about the fees for banks, we do see that according to Ripple, it will help reduce the cost for banks by 40 to 60%. This is that XRP on-demand liquidity service. Now, when we are talking about on-demand liquidity, this is that white paper that I've showed you guys. I want to say it was like about a week ago when I showed you guys this, but this is actually a very interesting overall PDF because this really kind of explains to you the true demand behind XRP. Now, this is without XRP. This is just utilizing Ripple, which of course you guys can see why banks would just choose to use Ripple. I mean, it's a 33% saving fee here. In fact, you're cutting out foreign exchange, you're cutting out currency hedging, and you also are cutting out a lot of that treasury operations. Now, with this in mind, a lot of the stuff here that we are really kind of watching for is just what Ripple is really kind of focused on, which of course you guys can see the major differences here. I mean, honestly, we're still looking at, liquidity here as a major, savings plan for Ripple, or I shouldn't say for Ripple, but for banks utilizing Ripple tech. More so they're cutting out Basel 3 here, which is like 1.6. You guys can see like the global average cost, 20.9 BPS on payment volume. You can see where liquidity stands, payment operations, all this kind of stuff, right? But the big selling point is not just Ripple. Like Ripple is saving these banks 33%. Yeah, that's great. But what about 42% with Ripple plus XRP? I mean, this is pretty big, right? Now you can see a lot of things being cut out here. More so, you do see Basel 3. You also see a few things like payment operations. You also see liquidity. That liquidity is a huge piece of the pie because that's 4.8 on the scale of 20.9. Between that and treasury operations, it's like the two biggest things. And of course, you do cut out treasury operations with XRP, which that's what's making it, be a 42% savings. But now we look down here, and this is where you get 60% savings, international payment infrastructure cost. Look at what's getting cut out here. I mean, not only are you seeing liquidity being cut out, you're seeing treasury operations being cut out. You're also seeing Basel III, but you're also seeing a lot more being taken out because of the low volatility of XRP. You're also seeing the efficiencies of XRP with Ripple technology here. 60% savings is no joke. This is why when we are talking about these major banks utilizing XRP and pulling out of SWIFT, that's the major thing that we are, watching for. Okay, and the funny thing about this is that here's a leaked video of a Ripple employee. Now, I don't know how, I'm not going to say that this is the most credible source or anything like that. I could not really find this video at all online. I mean, this is a leaked video nonetheless. But listen closely to what this lady does have to say.
This is a really key point because Ripple is really at the cutting edge of this. So you guys should all be really proud to work here. 75% of big global banks, especially US ones, are pulling out of the international correspondent banking system. It's just too onerous. The regulatory requirements are too painful, and people say, well, it's not worth it. Why should I have a correspondent banking pair with Uganda or Ghana or, Chile? Why should I bother? And so new innovations like the Chinese digital yuan, like the big payments platforms in China, could take its place. On the US side, what do we have? I mean, if we had national champions in the US, which we don't, of course, Ripple would be it. We could be on the really positive side of this as we start gaining traction. And I don't have to tell you all because you work here and you help make this happen.
Now, of course, like I said, this is a leaked Ripple employee, but she mentioned 75% of all global banks are already pulling out a SWIFT payment system. Now, this is far before anything has happened recently. This is actually a over 1-year-old video. But she is saying if the U.S. wanted to pick a champion player around this area, it would be, of course, Ripple. And when we're talking about everything that is happening, it really kind of comes back to the technology behind RippleNet, utilizing, of course, XRP, because we are going to see some major savings for these banks. I mean, honestly, if you are a bank and you're saving, 60% in fees, why wouldn't you utilize that technology? And this is also the idea on why wouldn't they utilize XRP with Ripple? Because everyone always says, well, hey, they're already utilizing Ripple, so why would they even want to use XRP? It's not the idea that they would want to use XRP or not. It's the idea on, do they want to save an additional 27% here? Because that's exactly what they are leaving on the table if they don't utilize XRP. And also, I do see the argument on, well, what about XRP as a digital currency? Isn't it, volatile? Honestly, not really. I mean, if you're talking more so about making payments in 3 seconds in terms of settlement, you really want to kind of almost look at the 5-second chart, which I mean I can't until because I don't have the premium here, but you can look at possibly the 1-minute chart here and really kind of address this. I mean, look at the 1-minute time frame, and you got to remember that this happens in 3 seconds in terms of settlement. I mean, yeah, does this look volatile? Not really. I mean, if you're looking at the percentage changes here, this is on a 1-minute time scale, so you got to think about it 3 seconds is a lot faster than 1 minute. But you guys kind of see how this trades sideways. And this is also Brad Garlinghouse's argument point on the idea on, what is more volatile, the US dollar or a digital currency that is going to be settled in 3 seconds compared to 9 days, or, in the argument of this, article, 2 to 3 days. That's the main point here on, what really is more volatile. So in my opinion, when we are talking about digital assets and we're talking about the US dollar, XRP is less volatile than the US dollar. But it's also the idea that we're really kind of looking forward to seeing a lot more innovation happening in this space. But all eyes are definitely on SWIFT with a lot of things happening, with Russia and the Ukraine and banks being frozen out. That's a big argument point right now. A lot of these nations do want to get out of SWIFT. A lot of banks also want to get out of SWIFT because it is a very, it's a very inefficient network. That's why I always kind of say, when we are talking about RippleNet, they don't want to become the next SWIFT, but in my opinion, they slowly are becoming the next SWIFT. But but in a much efficient way. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. If you guys do want more free content, or not more free content, more content, you guys are more than welcome to go check out NCashOfficial.com. But with that being said, I hope that you guys all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.